Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with My Hero Academia. Last time on My Hero Academia, we had the High Deep Blue Sky, where basically after the weirdly inspiring battle between the gamers of what the hell were they called? The League of Villains and the Paranormal. No, they were the Meta Liberation Army, who then joined forces and became the Paranormal Liberation Army under Tomura Shigaraki. We cut back to class where things were good. You know, things were nice and happy and not depressing. But they also weren't very gamer either. So, take what you can get. But yeah, there was some training going on. Boy, it's been a little while. It's been about a year since I watched that last episode, so forgive me if I can't remember everything. But I do remember there was a talk between All Might and Aizawa about... Well, first off, All Might wants to go see Stain for whatever reason. And then he was like, oh, I want to do something. And Aizawa was like, dude, you've done everything over the past, time you've been a hero. Chill out, you know? So, yeah, there was also that. And then, also, Shigaraki also knows about One for All because the doctor was telling him about it. Yeah. That's the best I can give you for a summary of last episode. If you're watching this, just straight through on the playlist, you're probably not noticing too much of a difference, but for me, it's been about a year since I watched My Hero Academia. I've since been watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which has been a lot of fun. But yeah, I caught up on it with Season 5, and here we are. Here we are. We are about to start Season 6. I'm actually recording this, and I guess this will still go up just before the English dub starts for Season 6. So yeah, it's interesting, it's fun, but I thought, hey, we've still got a movie to do, so let's do the third movie, World Heroes Mission. Like always, this is going to be in the dub, but yeah, this is going to be interesting. Now, the last two movies have been interesting. The first movie I really, really enjoyed, I thought was really good. I really like the second movie. The more I sit with the ending, though, with the ending final battle, as amazing visually as it was, some of it with the whole giving Bakugo One for All and stuff, it's like, okay, this feels like... It's starting to feel like one of the old Dragon Ball movies where it's like, okay, yeah, they fight Janemba, that's great and all, but you're not canon. Even though the Janemba fight is also good too, but so maybe bad example, but yeah, it's like, okay, this isn't canon, he doesn't remember anything, we'll never bring this up again, but there was a lot of interesting stuff in that one, so I'm curious to see what we're getting into with this movie. I haven't really looked up anything. I don't know too much of the plot. I think there's something about murder. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's our three boys still with the Endeavor Agency, and I think they got new outfits, which actually makes this Deku hoodie obsolete. I'm gonna take this off. This is too much, actually. I wore this hoodie for the first movie, and then when the second movie came around, I wore this my other hoodie, my UA hoodie, and the UA hoodie is a bit more comfortable, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm gonna put that away because that Deku hoodie is a little tight on me. It's a little tight. I'm not as slimmed and fit as Deku is. So yeah. Anywho. So yeah, this is way better anyway. So anyway, yeah, movie reaction. Like always, the reaction, because this is an anime, for every anime that I do, I always take the reaction out of the actual reaction video, which can be confusing for some people, but basically, what you gotta do is head down in the description or into the pinned comment. There'll be a link there that says, watch the reaction highlight here. You click on that. There's the reaction. It's just one click away. There's no extra charges or anything like that. Also, there's another link there. It says, if that link doesn't work, try this. That's a backup link, because sometimes the first link doesn't work, so I always provide a backup link. But there is a third link there. That's for the full length. Now, that does cost $5, but that also gets you access to every full length I do. So yeah, you can do that if you want. If not, that's all right. But after the movie, I do highly encourage that you stick around, come back to the YouTube video for the discussion. I'm holding back burps. This is a great start to this. Anywho, why don't we just go ahead and jump right into My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission. Boy, these titles are kind of blending together now. Like, come up with something good, like... I was trying to think of a DBZ one, but they all kind of suck too. Oh well. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into World Heroes Mission. Here we go. Also, next week, My Hero Academia Season 6, starting Wednesday. Holy cow, man. I'm sure I say this every movie. It was a really amazing movie, and maybe my favorite now. I say that every movie, don't I? Oh my god. See, the only thing is, with this in the first movie, they're kind of canon. Like, there's nothing explicitly not canon about the movies. Last movie, the whole thing with giving One for All to Bakugo, that was not fucking canon. But this one, I would say the only thing not canon about this is the fact that yet again Deku has broken his arms. Like, he has to be running out at some point, That was the whole thing. You do this too much, you break your arms. But I love that at the end, when he, goes over to Rhodey and he's, holding his hand, there is no pain to him at all. So I just assume his arms are just this is just where we're at. This is just where we're at. How could we not move, Deku just doesn't feel pain. He sacrificed the nerves in his arms so that they'll keep moving even when he breaks them. Dear God, how the hell did he do the United States of World Smash? That's the only other thing where I'm like, okay, man. My God. That was ridiculous. Oh, jeez. Oh, God, it's already afternoon. Okay. Woo. That was a lot. That was a lot, but, I'm glad. Okay, so see, this, at the very least, I like that this was so different, Like, the first movie you could almost say is almost kind of like Die Hard a bit, It's Die Hard, but it's on Island. And then the second one's just sort of I don't know, it's such an isolated place, and then it gets to, the sort of battle plan of holding off 9 and everything. This one, I don't know, how to describe it per se, but this one was really interesting. I love the addition of Rhodey, I love the addition of Rhodey, and his dynamic with Deku was really, really good too, So, oh boy. I will also say, though, I remember when this movie was announced that they showed off the new outfits that the three of them were wearing. That was only in the beginning. Why was that made such a big deal when that was only used in the beginning? And only those three? For some reason, those three had new hoodies, but nobody else did, and then they never wore them again. Oh, okay. Anyway. Holy crap. That was crazy. That was absolutely crazy. But that was really, really good. Again, I don't know. Because I feel like I say this every movie, But that, as of this very moment, is now my favorite movie, So yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into the notes. The first thing I wrote down, Flecked. Excuse me. Flecked Turn and his group Humorize. Interesting. So, I mean, okay. Let's all be honest that Flecht and his whole thing of, we must cure humanity and stuff like that. It's just, I mean, I guess it's different, but it's really just Overhaul again, with a dash of Stain, because Stain, his whole thing was just destroying heroes. I mean, I guess we've had a lot of this, though, where it's like, because Stain wanted to wipe out humans, or not humans, heroes, excuse me. If he tried to wipe out humans, that would have been something. But he was trying to get rid of unworthy heroes. Overhaul was trying to... I mean, he had the cure, but he was also going to control. It wasn't really like, we're going to cure everybody. I mean, it kind of got that way, but at the same time, his initial plan was to control both heroes and villains, Eventually, it got to, I'm just going to cure everybody. But that wasn't his initial plan. Redestro, I mean, his whole thing, him and Nine kind of had the same thing going of like, well, for Redestro, it was liberation. It was to use your quirks however you see fit. Nine was very similar, but his whole thing was the strongest will survive, which they're very similar, And then you got this guy who just wants to get rid of quirks entirely, but instead of being like Overhaul and having a cure, he just wants to kill everybody that has a quirk. So with that, I think he's a little close to Overhaul, And that's the thing, because with some of the other villains, I kind of like the other villains more because they're, I don't know, their goals are a bit more simple. All for One and Tomura, their whole point is just that they're evil. There's nothing, there's no, noble thing that they must do. All for One is I'm evil, so screw it. And Tomura's yeah, freaking gamers. I'm gonna go kill people, and that's it. That's, literally their whole thing, Even with their backstories and everything with Tenko Shimura and, the stuff you hear about All for One and his brother and how he gained his power and how he got, so many followers and stuff. It really just is chaos, It really just is chaos. And then the real other sort of extreme would be Gentle Criminal, who just, he wants to, he wants to be remembered, he wants to write his name in the history books. So that's why, he tried to break up the UA festival. God, I miss Gentle. Oh, I hope Gentle comes back at some point because I really love Gentle. Honestly, Gentle's my favorite villain, so... But yeah, it's I kind of like those villains a bit more. There's so many now, and I think of the villains who are I'm gonna tear down this infected society and destroy quirks or heroes or what have you. I think I like Overhaul the best because Overhaul, while yes, eventually when he was fighting Deku, he was going I'm just gonna cure everybody. I'm just gonna get rid of quirks altogether. But before that, I liked his goal a bit more of the look, we have a cure. We're going to sell it to the villains. We're going to sell the restoration, get your quirk back to the heroes. And then we're just going to let them fight and we're going to profit on that, And I like that a bit more because it's not really this noble cause that he has. It's that, no, I'm going to rule everything like the Yakuza should, So of those villains, I think Overhaul is the best. Flecht is okay. He's good for a movie. I don't know if I would want him in an arc, And his whole thing about this is holy, this is a holy place and you're infected, you filth and everything like that. It's okay, let's just wait for Deku to kick your ass, But yeah, the trigger bombs, which we did have a lead-in episode to this. Was it season 5? I want to say episode 16. Which is weird because we watched that before we even watched the second movie, so Good job, My Hero. They just really output these two movies at terrible times. But we had to lead into that, and the whole thing of like, oh, this is they're based in like Europe or something, which that was an interesting thing where they showed the map, because it's like, was it Otheon and Clade, these two neighboring countries? It's like, okay, where are these in Europe? What? Because these are the only two made-up countries, And actually, the only two made-up countries we've ever heard of, I think. Like, everywhere else is like, they were in the States, they were in Egypt, they were in France, they were in Japan. They were in Japan, but God forbid Ida does anything. We're going to talk about that, but I don't even know if there's anything to talk about other than that sucks. But anyway, but then they showed the map, and I actually like that they showed the map, and Otheon and Clade seem to be just this island between the British Isles and the Spanish Peninsula, which is interesting. So, okay, you can do that, but that's weird. You just made up these countries, but I don't know, maybe they were like, well, we don't want to base this in France and be like, oh, well, look at the French police are all corrupted or something, I don't know. But, yeah, kind of odd, but whatever. But yeah, Otheon. Okay. I have to go pee. Like, I thought I could get through the whole discussion, but we literally just started on the notes, and I gotta go pee. This is what happens after a movie, so I will be right back. Let's all go take a pee break. And, we'll be back in just a little bit, so, and I'm back. Alrighty. Whew. Really thought I could get through that, but nope. I mean, this movie was also, I think this was longer than the other two. I mean, by maybe 15 minutes, but that was a pretty decently length movie, honestly. So, alrighty. Okay. So yeah, trigger bombs all across the world. Very interesting. Very, very interesting thing. And I like... It is kind of interesting that it's like, okay, do these places not have too many heroes that you have to send heroes from Japan all over the world and with their work-study students? I don't know. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah. But I still liked it. So, you had... The only thing I will say is because of this, not a lot of the classes featured. And honestly, yeah, if... I guess, like, maybe half of Class A was featured in two heroes. All of Class A was featured in... what the hell was the last one called? Heroes Rising. I get all of these titles mixed up. But yeah, so they were at least, everyone was showcased there, whereas this one, not everybody was showcased. Like, you had some scenes, you had Hawks and Tokoyami flying around New York. You had a bit of, Uraraka and Asui in France. You had, was it Sero and Mineta in Egypt with a guy I love that's like, oh, Egypt, what does an Egyptian hero look like? He looks like a freaking ancient Egyptian, like, pyramid drawing. Like, come on, man. That is the dumbest thing, but it was funny. I like that. I like how fast he is, too, because he's, paper thin. So that was funny. But you got people based, all across the earth, and then you still have the one team in... You still got the one team in Japan. You've got, which also includes, two of the big three. Obviously, Mirio can't do anything anymore. Excuse me. But you get Tamaki and Hado? No. Is that right? Nejire Hado. Nejire. That was it. Oh my god. It's been a year. It's been about a year since I've watched MHA. So it's a little difficult. Like, I'm suddenly having to put myself back. Like, and I know I watched MHA for, like, 2 years straight. Like, every week, pretty much, barring, a couple break weeks, we had My Hero going. But, yeah, I'm really, like, trying to put myself back into the headspace. I've been in Full Metal Alchemist mood for the past while, But pretty much everyone in Class A was on the scene doing something. Except Ida. Now, I guess it was that he was also working in Japan, but we didn't really see him, He was mainly at UA with Aizawa and everyone. Like, Ida didn't really do anything, and I think that's a crime. I think that is an absolute crime because Ida was one of he's one of the top dogs, He's like in the top 5 characters in Class A, Like Deku, Todoroki, Bakugo, Uraraka, Ida. And Ida has been useless for so long, Like, he had a bit in the joint training in season 5, but other than that, nothing. Not a friggin' thing. So the fact that he's not even on a team in this, that sucks. Now, I will say, improvement from last movie, Todoroki is doing a lot more, Because last movie focused the most on Deku and Bakugo. But I like Todoroki actually pulling his friggin' weight in this one. I say that like he didn't freeze Chimera from the inside out, But still. So yeah. But also in this movie, we had Rhodey. Very good character. I like him. So yeah, we have our... the unfortunate thing is, he's in a movie. So we're never getting him back, Like, this movie is the first time they've referenced Melissa outside of Two Heroes, And it's like, oh, great. The movies are canon to each other, but that's it. The show will never reference these movies, with the exception of the lead-ins, And sometimes, like, for this and the first movie, they both got, like, lead-in episodes, where it's like, oh, All Might gets an email from Melissa. And this one, it's like, oh, Uraraka and Ryukyu stopped supply of Trigger that was going to Europe, And so there is that, but it's like, other than that, like, there wasn't really anything for the second one. There was, like, a hint at, like, oh, yeah, there's another program we would like your work-study students to do, But, yeah, so... Other than that, there really wasn't any lead into that. But, yeah, I really like Rhodey. We're never getting Rhodey again, And, in all honesty, I don't know if we're getting a 4th movie, because I know the manga is coming to an end. I'm sure... I heard that, like, they're like, going into the final battle right now in the manga, so the anime can't be so far behind, I think, although I don't know, like, from what I've heard, and don't quote me on this, but from what I've heard, the anime might be, like, 2 or 3 arcs behind, so maybe, like, 2 seasons or so left? I don't know. Don't quote me on any of that, but yeah. But I don't even know if we're going to get a 4th movie, We may not, and that's okay. That's okay, because... it's okay because I really enjoyed this one. And if this is, the last of the movies, I think this ends on a high note, Honestly, we may be steeped too much into story next time for there to be a movie, But I don't know. We'll just have to see. But Rhodey's a great character. Rhodey is definitely a great character. I enjoyed his little mix-up with Deku, and the fact that, yeah, they were both on the run, which was pretty interesting. And so, yeah, the whole thing of Deku was being framed for the murder of 12 people was... See, I think I had heard something about that for this movie, but I think... Like, I feel like the plot description, like, makes that more important than it actually is, because what it really is that the villains are trying to get the case, you know? They're trying to get the case because that has the chip that can stop the trigger bombs, you know? So they're framing Midoriya for these crimes he didn't commit just so that they can mobilize against him, you know? But other than that, they really didn't focus on that too hard. Like, there wasn't this whole thing, you know, and because it's a shock. It's definitely a shock to to all the students around the world, but yeah, they don't really focus too hard on that, you know? It was just that he was being framed so that the police in Otheon could mobilize, you know? But yeah, but that was interesting. And I do also like that they just, that Midoriya's idea was to go across the border to escape the police, which that is true. That is a good thing, because it's like, yeah, you know, it's not there's no, like, FBI, like, no federal bureau in Otheon. I keep having to, like, look down and remember the name Otheon. But yeah, it's like, and without the army, like, they don't have jurisdiction in Clade. I wonder if those are supposed to be Star Wars references too. I don't know, because, you know, most, like, made up places, like whenever they go to, like, Hosu or something, is supposed to be a Star Wars reference, but yeah, I don't know. We also had, I did like that moment after Deku takes the arrow, and Rhodey is just so confused, you know, why would you do this for me? I just betrayed you. And it's like, you know, I shouldn't deserve this. And Deku's like, well, I'm not going to help somebody who, I'm not going to not help somebody who needs help, you know? So I like that. I like that Deku is kind of confused about that, because that is one thing when he goes into this whole thing of, you know, oh, I want to be a hero who saves everybody, you know? I will say that now, when we're just about to jump into season 6, and I kind of I started to think this way in, like, season 3, you know? Like, I'm kind of done with Deku saying, I want to be a hero. I want him to start saying, I am that hero, you know? And I don't know, maybe that's just me, maybe this is a weird critique, but I want him to face the facts that he is a hero. You know, you tell it to Koda, you tell it to Eri, you tell it to anybody else he has saved. Anybody. He is a hero. But he always says, I want to be a hero. And maybe that is a good thing, you know? Maybe that is a good thing, because it's like, well, you know, he doesn't have, like, a crazy ego like Bakugo, where it's like, oh, I am the best, you know? He's saying, I want to be. So, I guess that could be, well, he's always looking to improve, you know? Great. I just talked myself out of it. Great. That happens sometimes. That happens. But yeah, so, again, it's kind of a dumb criticism, and even here, I just talked myself out of it. But yeah, it's like, you are that hero, man, that saves people with a smile on his face. Oh, boy. So yeah, so that was a good moment. And then after that, and also, it's interesting to think back on that too, because as Rhodey goes to sneak away with the case and call, Pino goes over to Midoriya to wake him up and be like, hey, he's doing this, and you think, oh, okay, so the bird's just concerned about it. But no, that means that's actually how Rhodey feels in that moment. Like, I shouldn't be doing this. I need to wake up Deku to stop me, you know? So that's really interesting. And I like, again, that his quirk, because at first I was like, oh shit, he's going to have some kind of quirk that can, you know, fuck up Flecht. But no, he literally just did that so that he could, you know, get around Flecht, you know? Like, hey, Deku, get up. you hold this guy off, I'll go put the chip in, you know? So I like that. That was a really interesting way of doing that, you know? And yeah, it's not this all-important great quirk that can save the day. It's that he has a quirk that lets Deku in on his plan, and then they do it. So that was great. We had the road trip. I kind of like that. Where was that? That was like... Yeah, that was about the middle of the movie was them going on this road trip across Otheon. So that was really fun. I enjoyed that. But yeah, that was really, really cool. And the two of them, getting to know each other and helping each other out. And then, yeah, so we had the whole thing. Oh, yeah, okay. So I was kind of looking at this note. I was a little confused. But yeah, so we had the assist. We had Todoroki and Bakugo coming in and helping, which that was a really good scene. Which, we didn't really get much of Arrow Girl, but then she just kills herself for the cause, It's freeing people. I'm so tired of for the cause, Like, that is kind of like, even with all the depressing things we saw with Shigaraki's backstory, I love that even when he gets all of this, it's not for the cause, It's not for this grand thing. It's because he just wants to destroy, That's literally it for him. He's just like, I gotta fucking destroy. I'm gonna do it. Forget it. They're like, you can go into like all these different, noble things. And he's like, no, I'm fucking evil. I killed my parents. I killed my entire family, and now I'm going to kill everybody else because I like to kill people, And I kind of like that. That is one thing I really enjoy about Shigaraki is, honestly, maybe just the simplicity of him, And honestly, because that is one thing where, like, when I watch some of this stuff, whereas, like, I watch some of the villains in this or Attack on Titan or something, it's like, I like some simplicity, I really appreciate more simplicity. Like, I don't give two shits about why Eren Yeager's doing the rumbling. You get villains like Flex who are interesting, but it's like, God, I'm glad this guy doesn't go any further because I don't need to hear about for the cause. We have to do this. I have to be evil for the cause, And it's like, I like some simplicity. That's probably why I like JoJo villains, JoJo villains are very simple, There's none of this, noble crap. It's like, take over the world, take over the world, take over the world, hand fetish, mafia, Like, that's it. I've got 15% battery left on my phone, on my camera here. So, I better plug it in. The plug is right there. I better plug it in real quick because we probably got another 10 minutes or so on this discussion. So 1 second. There we go. I started at like 83%, so that just shows me how long I can go. Anyway, but I also don't want to take too long on this. Nose is running a bit. That's all right. I mean, we've probably had a decent amount of discussion time, but we'll keep going just to go through these last notes. But we had the assist, which was good, and the puzzle that Rhodey was able to solve. And they got the key. And yeah, they had they're going to target the heroes, take out all the heroes and so many people with quirks, and then they'll rebuild with... And you got the people who are worthy. Yeah, bullshit. Like, bullshit that Flex plan was not, well, we'll kill most of the people with quirks, then we'll kill the rest of the people with quirks, and then I will kill myself, So I guess it's kind of like Amon in Legend of Korra, but he has a power, which, I mean, well, let's not get into that, but yeah, he openly has a power. So yeah, it's like, it's kind of interesting. Again, it does kind of feel like Team Plasma in Pokemon Black and White, where it's like, it starts off with like the freedom of Pokemon and stuff, and then you start to realize like, well, it's freedom for everybody else's Pokemon. Like, yeah, and then Team Plasma will be the only people with Pokemon and can take over or whatever, But yeah. But we had the two guards. An interesting fight. I don't know. Like that wouldn't be like the first quirk that I would think for fighting Bakugo. Is just like they got like chain whips basically. They've got these like blade whip things. But that was a hell of a fight for Bakugo. I love that, and first off, Bakugo was able to do all that without any freaking one for all or anything. Like, that's how strong he just is, But that was really, really good. Like, even when they take the trigger, he just and I'm like positive he killed them. He absolutely, like, maybe they showed them at the end, but I don't know. I'm gonna say Bakugo killed them, because that was like, that howitzer looked as powerful as the one he did with One for All at 100%, So, yeah, friggin' Bakugo, man. Hey, it's all that training with Endeavor. It's paying off. But yeah, that was really just an incredible fight. And then Todoroki's was all right. I'm glad he was important in this movie more than last movie. But his fight was good, and then eventually doing a complete, not even, because he starts to do the flash freeze heat wave, but that doesn't work. But then he gets out that freaking flash fire fist jet kindling, which honestly just sounds like a stronger version of, or just another version of the jet burn that Endeavor did against Nomu. So, yeah, that was great. That was really good. And honestly, can I just say, for that voice actor, I love the guy. I love the behind the scenes of him too, because it's always hilarious. But that is the most I feel like I've heard Todoroki emote. Like, he was fucking screaming. Like, that was great. Props to the voice actor on that one. But yeah, that was really, really great. And then we realized Flexed Quirk bounced back. But he bounces literally everything back, which was interesting. And I absolutely love that Deku's solution is to just hit him harder. That is so stupid, but I love it. That is exactly the strategy I feel like All Might would have done. I feel like Nanashimura would have done. All of the predecessors, because I have this headcanon that all of them are stupid to some extent, I feel like they're all morons, but it's like the abridged Goku version of like, well, why don't we just hit them harder, And that was it. He literally just kept hitting him harder until he reached the limits of his reflection, So that was interesting. I like that. But yeah, and then I also love the whole thing of like, you gave up. You became an edgelord and gave up on your quirk. If you had kept trying, maybe you could have, had that good life. You gave up, So that was fun. I like that. Then Rhodey's quirk, which is Pino, his stand pretty much, and it tells him the truth. I like that. That's an interesting quirk. Very, very interesting. And then the United States of World Smash. So he went further than the United States of Smash that All Might did on All for One. Like how? He never said what percentage he was at in this entire movie. Like, because at first I was like, man, he seems to be doing a lot more than 8%, But he just like kept going, but he never said, like, he never, he went to the, blue hair 100%, but he never said anything. So it's just like, he doesn't even care anymore. It's like, look, I'm just going to keep going, I don't need to keep shouting it. We all know I'm just going to get stronger, because that's what I do every movie. Every movie, he's going to get to 100, so. But yeah, the United States of World Smash, which I don't even know what that was. Like, he was doing like a Star Platinum, like, aura beatdown. But then there was like multiple images, like he was just going that fast, and then like things were getting really psychedelic. I don't know, the animators were obviously having fun with that scene. I don't know what was happening, but it was interesting, But yeah, but he was able to win, and I guess just completely destroy Flex Quirk, which was interesting. But yeah, that was something. And then, yeah, Rhodey was able to... I don't know why these are freaking out so much, but Rhodey was able to disarm all the bombs. And so everyone was saved. All the Humorize members... Humorize is kind of a weird name, but they all got arrested, and that was that. And I love that goodbye when, Rhodey's like, oh, stick to Japan. You really shouldn't come back. But then Pino on his shoulder is just crying. It's like, they're such bros. I hate that we'll never see him again. We'll never see Rhodey again. Just like Melissa, just like Maharo and and the other kid from the last movie. We'll never see him again. And maybe like at the end after they beat Shigaraki or whatever. Maybe in the last episode we'll just have a flash of everybody, even the movie people. I hope so, but we'll have to see. But yeah, really, really great stuff. Honestly, yeah. Again, I'm sure I said this last time, but favorite of the three movies. This one I think was really, really, really good. And yeah, next week we are starting off season 6 of My Hero Academia. So yeah, the English dub starts this Saturday, so this is going up on Wednesday. Expect the next Wednesday and every Wednesday basically I'm pretty sure until the season's done, because I don't think they really take breaks. So yeah, so this was just the beginning. We've got 25 episodes ahead of us, I think, unless they're going more this season. But yeah, but we will be back with more, and who knows? Maybe someday I'll get different MHA merch, because I've kind of had these for the longest time. But anywho, but that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next week for Season 6, Episode 1. See you guys there. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist for all of my Hero Academia reactions, as well as another playlist for all of my movie reactions if you want to go check out some of those. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.